Night Live. Tune in every Friday night for the all-new Friday Night Live. Every Sunday, we got Sunday Night Live, always with a special guest on all nights. And then today, therapy session. We do this Monday through Thursday, anytime after 6 p.m. It's a pop-up show. Friday Night Live is every Friday night at 9 p.m. It is the only live call-in show on the damn internet. Same thing for Sunday nights. We do it live with special guests. The only live call-in show where we also do nothing but support new businesses. Make sure you go to hustlefit.com and get your No Cap Reacts merch. As well as Hustle Fit gear. As men's, women, and children clothing line. And tonight is none other than I'm your man Bailey, a.k.a. Mr. Go Get 'em. And thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Therapy Session. Tonight I bring you an extra special guest. He hasn't made it to this show yet. It's, last time he came, he was on a whole nother channel that I have that has been sitting incognito for a little bit. But we got to talk about, well, one of the things that he helps people do as well as does himself, which is build wealth. Not only that, he comes and he brings a wealth of knowledge. He is a young black entrepreneur. I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to the man himself. It's time! Go ahead and let the world know who you are.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Eric Robinson. Hello, world.
All right, Eric, tell these people what you do, who you do it for, where you do it at, and anything else you want them to know, where they can find you.
Okay, so life insurance, health insurance, mostly life insurance and retirement protection. You can reach me Instagram, TikTok, any of the social media platforms, or just send me a message. Here's my cell, 626-703-9734. Blow me up, I don't care. But yeah, that's what I do. I help families. Some people are looking for death protection. Make sure that their family's protected when they pass away. Some people are looking to build wealth. Some people are looking to do a little bit of both. And so, I've over the last like 8 or 9 years.
Hey, hold on. Your mic wouldn't know. I told you with this live, things can happen. All right.
Hey, it's all good.
Let the world know who you are.
Hey, they might have heard me already.
Hey, y'all 100% got to blame that on my black ass. That's me. I did that. Or shall I say I didn't do that. All right.
Oh, man. That was good. That was a good take. That was a good take.
Wasn't it? Yeah, it's not a take. It's
that was
live.
a good take.
We do it live here, ladies and gentlemen. We do it live.
Oh, man. No, so Eric Robinson, you can see me on most of the social media. I am Eric J Official is where you can find me, or just send me a message, 626-703-9734. I don't mind. Give me a call. I'm always available for my clients. So, if you have some questions about anything that we talk about today, feel free to reach out. But yeah, you asked what I do. So in a nutshell, I assess what people's needs are based on life insurance and what they're trying to accomplish for their families. And, I shop around across 20 plus A-rated insurance carriers, and then I put them in the best position that I possibly can. The thing I like the most about what I do now versus what I used to do when I first started in the industry was I was a captive agent when I first started. So I could only represent, one company, and I was only selling like one suite of product. Now, I'm really a one-stop shop unless you're, I don't do auto.
Nobody wants to do auto.
Too auto. But nah, I love what I do, man. I've been doing it coming up on 9 years now. So I think that one of the things that people don't know about the insurance industry is I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's boring. You know what I mean? Oh, it's just insurance. But what people don't know is that you can build not only wealth for yourself, but wealth for your family. You'll have a better understanding about, how economics work and finance works in the world. But the thing I love the most about it is that you're setting yourself for the future with a residual income. A lot of people like to talk about passive income.
Uh-oh, you say residual?
Yeah. So, some people say like passive income, right? I'm not a big fan of like the word passive income because it means or implies that like you don't have to do anything. But residual income, I like residual income. You know what I mean? That's the money that keeps coming in as long as you're, doing the basic things to maintain it. And so what most people aren't unaware of is as an insurance agent, you get paid whenever your clients are making a payment. So, some agents that aren't that great necessarily won't follow up with their clients and they lose a lot of business and their residuals aren't really good. So that's why I say passive income. If you're passive about your business, then you're not really A, doing a service for those clients, and then B, you're not going to have a very good income coming in later on. But if you service your clients and you take care of them, I don't, treat them like family is kind of cliche, but in a sense, treat them like family. Make sure you're following up with them, do the right things, all those things. Those become clients for life, and you in turn get paid on those clients for life. So it becomes a mutually beneficial relationship. So, yeah, man, that was a long way of saying. I said it was going to be short, so my bad.
Okay, so the reason that I wanted to bring you on here, one, basically, as an insurance agent, you pretty much you're your own boss, correct?
Yeah.
And you create everything that you do and how you do it,
Yeah.
which is the epitome of what so many call the American dream. All right. Not only that, you make a damn good living doing it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So if anyone was interested in doing what you do, how would they go about doing it?
Call me.
And what's your number again?
626-703-9734.
And approximately how long would it take for them to get into the new said business?
That's a loaded question, actually, but it's on them. This business, just like entrepreneurship, it's on you. It's your effort. So I've had people pass their test in a couple of weeks, and they're hitting the field running within a month. I've had people take 6 months. I've had people be processed and ready to go in 2 weeks. I think that the shortest time frame, realistically, that someone could get started in the insurance industry is about 2 weeks, if everything is squeaky clean in their background.
Okay. So that makes life a little bit easier. And they get to become this word that so many people love to throw around. They get to become an entrepreneur.
Ah, man, the loaded question. Everybody's favorite word to throw around until they really find out what it's all about.
All right. So, as an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
there's two of them in this room. We definitely know. How many hours do you work in a day? And how many days do you typically get off?
I didn't know there was such thing as a day off. So. What is that? Last week would probably be a good example of a long week. Every day I was up at 3:45. Was working, like actually physically working from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Processing paperwork from about 5:30 when we get back to the hotel to about maybe 6:30. 8 dinner, 7 to 8, back to the bed, 9, up again at 3:45, and I did that for 5 days straight. And then I had to do some traveling in between to get there. So, that would be what we would call like a strenuous week.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we also, I think, cleared about just shy of $20,000. So I always say, are you just willing to put in the work to make the money?
Well, and I think it's not that I think, I definitely know. What a lot of people don't really understand is that hard work, like the epitome of a business owner is hard work. You actually work far more hours. Like you get up, you're up before everyone, and you're the last person to go to sleep. Basically, is the way life tends to play itself out if you want to be successful. So when we had this conversation last time, you spoke about a certain boss of yours that made quite a dent in the game, and he was working how many hours?
Oh, dude, brutal. 15-hour days, 7 days a week.
But that was a high six figure, right?
I mean, he clears $1 million in commissions a year. I mean, he's already cleared $1 million this year. Having a stellar year.
Okay, so I said a high six figures. He's a seven figures. My bad for disrespecting you, sir.
Yeah,
if
no
you
worries.
see this, you're a seven figure igga.
Yeah, no, he's a rock star. I mean, he's 58 years young, and I mean, guys got a lot of energy. But my mentor coming into the
Make 6-7 figures a year. Of course, you got a lot of energy. You
Yeah.
got a lot to enjoy and live and be smiling about.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. But there's a couple different ways you can run the business, right? It's for all the viewers that are actually watching, right? You can be a salesperson for an entire career, build up your residual income, which is kind of like your own retirement plan, if you will, if you treat the customers right and all that. And then there's the other side of it where you can become a leader and you build a team, which is what I'm back into doing. The first time I was on the show, I was heavily into personal production because I was working with so many different carriers. I'm really big on knowing exactly what I'm offering, right? A lot of agents, when they come in the business, they just do what the person above them says and sells the way that the person above them tells them to sell. And that doesn't help my client necessarily. It could, but I like to know for a fact. So I spent a lot of time last year to 2 years really doing personal production, learning in and outs of a lot of the new products that I brought on, what's a good fit, field underwriting, and really, really doing the best service for the client. It takes time. And now what we're able to do is kind of streamline that process. And now we're rebuilding an organization in the state of California. I think, if I may, I mean, we have one of the most, if not the most unique opportunity in the insurance industry right now, by far, where you don't have to buy leads. You don't have to call your friends and your family. And if you live in the state of California, I've got like 1,800 locations to put you to work with over 300,000 people that need our help. There's not an opportunity out there like that exists where, you can truly build wealth for your family. Like I said, some weeks we go out and we help 5-10 families. That equates to $5,000 to $10,000. But if you go out and you help 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 families, that could be $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 or more. Not including protecting retirements and things like that. So real special. Been really, really focused on building. And so you don't always have to produce in order to have a big income. You can build a team, help other people, show them the ropes essentially. And I think that that's one of the most fulfilling things about the business I've truly loved personally, is seeing people go from, like, I have a girl who works in a warehouse right now, or used to work in a warehouse right now. And, she made like $1,500 her first week. And she was like, dude, it takes me a month and a half to make that. That's a big deal. Have another guy who's, waiting tables who, made a couple grand in a week and was just like, man, I couldn't do this in tips in a night, in a day, in a week. So that impact that people get in this business is really, really what I love, man. It's something that over time, the last 8 or 9 years, that I can't describe it. It's just really unique. It's special. I love helping people, especially find this career, especially when they find out that they're really good at it.
Okay. Now, for those that don't know, how does health help build wealth? How does insurance help build someone's wealth?
So many different ways. Another loaded question, man. You keep throwing them at me. So a couple different ways we can look at it, right? So there's you're passing on wealth, which is, hey, when you pass away, an insurance company, you purchased a product, which is a death benefit. And that product, the way it works is, hey, when you die, the insurance company is obligated to pay your family X amount of dollars. Of course, pending all of the things that were contractually agreed upon are still valid, true, meaning you didn't lie on an application, things like that, right? You weren't breaking the law when you passed away. So that's the first way. That's the way that most people look at life insurance. And I think that there's a really big misconception because that is actually like death insurance. I think that we should recategorize. I think we should.
And today on life insurance, let's talk about death.
And that's the number one way that people think about life insurance, man. It's not the best way to think about it, to be honest with you. But it's the way that we've been trained in our society in a lot of ways. But when you take a look at permanent options like a whole life policy or some universal types of policies, depends on the type of policy you're buying. But those policies are meant for true, like while you're alive, right? So big difference, access to the cash that grows tax-free, tax-free growth on the cash that's building. And of course, if God forbid you were to pass away, yes, that turns into a wealth transfer. But when you have an agent that does the right thing for you and sets you up the right way, you really should have a policy that if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, by the time you're in your 50s, 60s, you have a nice tax-free income or tax-free supplemental income that's there, kind of that treats like deferred compensation. Some people treat it like their own Roth IRA, if you will. The best way to look at it is it's supplemental income. And when you have, taxes at a rate that they are today, and they're only going to continue to go up, right? I don't see taxes going down at any point in time. Well, you got to find some way to avoid, right, legally, the government being able to have access to the growth of your funds. And, the argument typically is, well, I'm not going to grow my money the same as it would in the stock market. Well, a financial advisor and your insurance agent are not the same person for a reason, right? Your insurance is there as protection. It's there to make sure that the IRS is not involved with your money growth. It's there to make sure that there's a wealth transfer without probate and tax-free. It's there to make sure that the money grows safely.
And no arguing and fighting about the money.
Right, exactly. And no arguing and fighting about the money. Right, exactly. Versus stock market and, like financial advisor, if you will, which nothing against them, they're there to make your money go boom, right? You want to see those big 15, 20, 30% returns. I haven't seen too many advisors across the board that do that regularly, right? But across the board, they're there to be a little bit more risky. They're there to manage money in some situations, but for the most part, they're putting your money in a riskier class, which is why they always say, hey, past performance is not indicative of future results, right? That's the common thing. Versus with life insurance, we can show you a table that says, hey, no matter what, your money's going to look like this. It's a guarantee. And then there's a table that says, hey, there's a non-guarantee that says, hey, if the market does well, if the economy does well, here's what the money could look like. Right. Did that answer that question?
It does. Yeah. Now, let's get to the bread and butter, the things that people hear about, don't understand how it works. But for those of us that do know, and are in the know, this is where we're able to either buy homes, create true generational wealth, get into the real estate game, start or buy a whole other business that's already in play, or I don't know, worst case scenario, something happens and you need to be able to take care of you and your family. Yep. Let's talk about that. What the rich people have been doing for years in order to stay rich, and what some of us just fall short of because we just refuse to either listen or do it.
Well, the lack of knowledge is a big one for sure. There's something. I'm going to say something that's probably a little bit controversial, and you may get a little whatever in the comments. But in our community, typically we're not willing to help the next generation. We talk about it, but we're not willing to pass down that information. What you're doing now is more than what our earlier generations do for a lot of their kids, a lot of their family, in the sense that it's like, uncle's rich now and I want to learn. Well, in our community, in our culture, typically it's like, well, I figured it out. You got to go figure it out.
Yep.
I'm not here to give you the answers. You got to figure it out on your own, just like I did. Alicia
said definitely a lack of knowledge. She said quick to say the game is sold, not told.
100%. I mean, that's a big one right there. And I think that's probably the biggest reason why more people in our culture, in our community, don't have true life insurance. They buy death protection because they're worried about getting shot. They're worried about not making it home from a car accident. And really, if you look at statistics, I mean, these doctors can keep you alive for a long time, man. They can really keep you alive nowadays. But statistically, dying in a car is rare. Dying in a plane is rare. Most people don't want to think about the fact that they're going to live until 82, 84, 87. Statistically, as a man, you're going to live to 82.
I say I'm living till 90.
Right.
Fuck until I'm 89 and 364 days.
And they're talking about, scientists nowadays are talking about by 2040, we're going to be able to, our physical bodies will be immortal. That's crazy to think about.
Well, that's some crazy. I don't know. I don't know that I would want to be immortal, but I don't, because I think about that. So in 2040, this is 2023. So that's a whole nother 17 years from now, 17 years from now. No. Yeah, I don't want 60-year-old Bailey body being immortal.
Well, maybe it's not the body, maybe it's the mind. That's what happens as we get older. We learn more, but our bodies can't keep up.
I'd rather they come up. Let's hurry up and build a time machine. Because with the mind that I have, if I go back to the early 1900s, it's a wrap.
Yeah, right?
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
You go back to the early 1900s, you don't have a setup like what you got right now either.
Look, this is the crazy part. I wouldn't need it.
Right.
This will be like I'm setting my great grandkids up. They gonna have this set up and more.
Yeah. Talking about generational wealth, every person, in my opinion, should have a small whole life policy. Now, there's a million people that'll go against that or whatever, but and the thing that's being sold right now on the internet is IULs, which they have a place if you're young. And you can handle market volatility because it's still indexed to the market.
Yeah, market volatility is horrible right now.
Exactly.
We just went from triple A rating to AA plus. No. We don't want to touch that right now.
And when you're talking about market indexes with like an indexed universal life, like I said, unless you're really young, they typically are not actually the best fit for most people. But what they do is they allow the insurance agent to offer a larger death benefit for a lower price. And they also can still sell like the cash value side of things, right? So for me personally, a whole life policy is going to contractually guarantee you more things than an IUL. An IUL can fluctuate and then it'll lapse on you. If you start to dabble with the cash value too early, you're messing around with it too much, if it's not properly explained to you, if you're taking out money from the policy to fund a business, but then the market has some downturn, then you could be in a situation where you're having to pay a lot more money to keep up with the policy, right? So IULs, they're a little tricky, and if the person that sets you up on it doesn't know what they're doing, then you could wake up in 10 or 15 years or 20 years and you don't have a policy.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the danger with an IUL.
Well, guess what?
What's that?
I think I just made you a sale.
Oh!
I have someone right now that says they need your info because they need insurance.
Oh, that's awesome.
I need a referral fee. I'm going to charge you a referral fee.
Let's get you licensed. You come on here and give some info. Whoever that is, you can reach me on my cell directly. Area code is 626-703-9734. Doesn't matter what state you're licensed in. I'm already licensed there. So.
And I'm gonna text her. I got her information. She was actually just on the show, and she'll be on tomorrow.
Oh, fantastic! That's awesome. Maybe we should do a show together.
So hey, here we go. Let's do it this way, because this is what people don't truly understand, and they don't understand how a lot of us are able to do the things that we do in life, and how the rich do the things they do in life. So in life, what actually happens is people go and they get these life insurance policies. With these life insurance policies, when you've had them for a amount of time, what you can do is you can basically take a loan against your own money, because it is your money.
Yep.
As you take this loan against this money, yes, you're slowly paying it back, right? But it's tax-free. So what happens is, let's say you need to purchase, I don't know, a $300,000 house, and you want to put a third of that down, and you have $1 million policy. Well, if you happen to pass away, you now have what, a $900,000 policy? And then obviously you got to pay the $100,000 back, which there you go. But what you were able to do is you were able to buy that piece of real estate. Now, that could be a piece of real estate. Me personally, I would tell you, if you're smart, you take that piece of real estate and you use it to make money. You either Airbnb or make a multifamily home.
Yep.
and make money off of that every single month, because at the end of the day, you do have a payment, and that's actually going to do that, which helps zero you out. It also helps you build your credit. The first thing that I would say do is start an LLC, and that's how you actually purchase the home. But there's other things in that. I'm gonna have a show. I gotta have a show on that one day, of how to start an LLC and build your business credit and do it in less than 6 months and get loans and everything else.
Right.
Now, this is what the Rothschilds have been doing for years. This is where the Trumps started off. The Hiltons started out.
Well, the most famous one is Walt Disney.
Yep, Disney himself.
And the Rockefellers. So Rockefellers and Walt Disney. And you're spot on with every single bit of that. Where people mess up though, and I always gotta I'm like the guy that's like, yeah, I'm a proponent, but be careful. Right? So where people mess up is they don't pay themselves back. Right? So what I want everybody to do that's watching this right now, I want you to download on Audible or purchase paperback a book called Becoming Your Own Banker, right? By R. Nelson Nash. Again, it's called Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. He's the godfather of this principle.
Yep.
And he created the infinite banking concept, which so many people use today. Now, back in the day, it wasn't called infinite banking. Just the rich people knew what they were doing, right? So the whole purpose is this. If your money can grow tax-free in an account versus in the stock market, no matter where you put it, all the growth is going to get taxed. So of course you want that tax-free account. And when you access that money, it's going to come to you tax-free, right? But if you don't pay yourself back, and you don't pay yourself back with interest the same way that you would pay a bank or pay another, financial institution, then your bank is going to shut down. So these policies are amazing. You can, just like Bailey said, start a business, borrow from yourself and buy a home. But again, if you buy a home and that's your primary residence, now you're shelling out your money and you have to pay yourself back somehow. So you put yourself in a bad spot. So you got to follow Bailey's advice there.
He needs some milk.
You got to follow Bailey's advice on that one. You got to make sure that you're putting it into a business or an investment that's going to make you more money than what the money inside the life insurance policy is doing. Right?
If you take out $100,000, I think it's $80,000 to start a Denny's. Like you can get a Denny's for $80,000. You know you're making money off of that. A gym. Some of these gyms are only $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, and you have a full gym. Mm-hmm. Like you have to figure out a way to make this money make money for you. And the fastest, and there's a reason that 97% of all millionaires and billionaires are in real estate. Real estate will pay you forever. Not only that, personal experience. It is the best tax break you are ever going to get in your life.
Yep.
Understand. Look me in my little beady eyes. I know you can barely see them. It is the biggest tax break you're ever going to get. As a matter of fact, you're practically not going to pay taxes. The government actually, when you are doing things such as creating homes for other people, when you're doing something that creates something for people,
100%,
then they don't tax you because you're actually in turn doing their job. You're doing them a service. I know we all hate the government, but use the government for what they're worth and stop paying them for no damn reason. Yeah. It's a super easy process. And this is hands down where I can say, fuck your credit, okay?
Yeah.
Fuck your job.
Yeah.
If you can do this and you follow this blueprint, it fixes all of that. You just have to be smart enough to do it. Yeah. This is a child could do this. Well, not a child.
Maybe not.
18-year-old child. Somebody that can get a policy.
Well, I mean, let's talk about that, though. I mean, we talk about generational wealth. If you have a child and they're under 18, you talked about you really want to set them up. I just helped someone in San Diego. Her daughter's 11. She's going to put $135 a month into a permanent policy. And it's specifically an IUL, the way it's supposed to be designed. At the age of 65, her 11-year-old will have a tax-free income of like $55,000 for the rest of her life. And she's only going to pay $135 a month for that.
Imagine being 65 years old, making or bringing in $55,000 a month?
Tax-free.
Tax-free. Okay, I'm going to do the math for some of you guys that are number retarded. That's $660,000 a year.
No. $55,000 a year.
Okay, even at $55,000. Okay, my bad. Hold on.
Did I say month? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That is $4,583.33 a month.
Tax-free.
Okay, most of y'all don't even make that right now. Most of you guys don't make 45. Let's just say 45.84 a month. Mm-hmm. And at that age, not only can you be making that money, but there's other things that you can do that'll supplement that. But that's just what your parents put in place for you.
That's exactly.
That's
what
not
I was
including the fact that if you're smart, you've worked the job where you receive some sort of retirement pension or something, or you've already made some sort of investment. And if your parent did that, then they also have a life insurance policy in place. And they asses then already passed away. So you should be sitting on 6 to 7 figures, right?
100%. And I mean, the other part of it too is, I mean, that's just her mother paying $135 a month, for that amount of time. What if she decides to pay and match her mom into that same policy? Now she has a 6-figure tax-free income just from her mom setting her up the right way. I really encourage people to think about, okay, well, what do you spend $50 on? That's Starbucks every week. Gas that you probably didn't need to drive somewhere that you probably didn't need to go, but you wanted to go. There's a lot of things that we misplace money with and then say, oh, I don't have enough to do that. But if we were to take a look at yourself when you're 30, 40, 50 years down the road and your kid is grown, you would feel differently. You would say, man, I wish I had set my kid up better. And that's the one thing that, again, like, unfortunately in our community, it's not talked about. It's like, hey, live till tomorrow. Live till, and I believe in living in the present. Right? Like, you got to live in the present. You got to be emotionally intelligent enough to live in the now. If someone's talking to you, look them in the face, be here now. But at the same time, unless you have a debilitating condition, unless you're terminally ill right now, put some life insurance in place for your family. You know what I mean? And stop playing around, because now what we wish we could have done, how many shoulda, coulda, wouldas? I talk to people all the time and they're 65, 70 years old, 75 years old. They either don't medically qualify for a type of policy that will help them and their family.
This is the generational curse.
Right. And then you know what happens? They say, they're fine. They'll figure it out. I can't afford that. It's $500 a month. Well, if you had bought it when you thought about it, when you were in your 20s and 30s, when your kids were young, and you had done something for your kids, now you wouldn't be worried about, your kids having kids and they can't take care of their kids because of something that you see what I'm saying? It's generational because of the things that we're not preparing for. And we're living in the moment all the time versus saying, hey, look, let me think about the future. And I'm not trying to be, hop on a soapbox or anything like that, but that's really what life insurance is.
I'm on a soapbox.
Know
why? Let's be real. How many niggas in a club popping bottles? They paid
it's ridiculous.
$300 for a $40 bottle of Hennessy.
It's ridiculous. And then they talk about, oh, I'm broke and I can't afford life insurance. And it's like, bro, but you have a kid at home.
And you doing this every weekend.
Right.
You if you can't afford $500 a month, but you can afford $1,200, $1,300 in alcohol, your priorities are just wrong.
And I mean, what most people don't even understand is that they could still live the life that they want if they would just buy the right policy and treat it like a bank. Hey, I'm going to put my money into my policy. It's going to grow tax-free. I'm going to borrow some money from myself. I'm going to go party a little bit. I'm going to put the money back. It's going to grow tax-free, and then I'm going to go party again. I have clients that literally set up their life insurance so that their life insurance dividends and cash value is paying for their debt. So they're getting tax-free money to pay for their debt, and they do it on a monthly basis. Now that's ridiculous. But you know what those people are doing? They're thinking about their future.
That's smart.
Right.
And let's think about that. So now you're debt-free.
Yeah.
Because you paid it all up front, but
with
you're
OPM.
paying it back slowly.
With OPM.
Yep. You're debt-free. You're not paying any interest whatsoever.
Nope.
And then guess what? You can go create good, positive equity debt. You can now play in the real estate game. You can play in the let me start a business game.
Yep.
You can partner up with someone else and do something. You can call my guy Eric here and go make a couple grand a week and really get in the game and change your life. You owe me 10%. You owe me 10% when you go do it. He gonna let me know. I said, I was watching No Cap Reacts to Bailey, and then this is where I got your information. He give it to me. So we're gonna make up some new contracts that's gonna have, and you owe Bailey 10% for the life of your.
But yeah, man. I mean, when you can put your children in a position to where they don't have to worry about money, and it costs you hardly anything, why wouldn't you do it?
Because people are selfish,
for the most part,
and they don't think about.
Or unaware.
They're not thinking about their future, and I think
right, or their kids' future.
I think that, but this is the thing, isn't your kid's future your future? Because don't we get old, and who do we expect to really take care of us?
Darn tootin'.
So if I'm taking care of my kids, don't you throw me in no goddamn nursing home. Right. I set you up to be in a 7-8 bedroom mini mansion. So I have my own room, please. Thank you.
Well, I mean, when you're setting up, again, when you're with the right agent, I have a policy right now on me. It's a 1.5 million, whatever. But the reason I bought it wasn't for the $1.5 million death benefit. It's for the $1 million I'll get for any critical illness, chronic illness, terminal illness, or a critical injury. So if I get hurt, mangled up in a car accident, that policy will pay me up to $1 million depending on the severity of my injury. That came out of my life insurance, but I can take that money out tax-free depending on that circumstance. I mean, when you're talking about cancer and being able to take out $1 million, up to $1 million, literal, up to $1 million, instead of waiting until you die to pass on that wealth, you literally could just have that money, have access to it. Some of it's going to go to treatment. The rest of it, you can start to put your family in a position today. Maybe you're married to somebody that's not capable yet of handling these things. You could literally, I got cancer. Boom. Give me my money. Now I'm going to go buy an apartment building. I'm going to go set my family up. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to do that. And then when you pass away, they get the rest of the death benefit, right? But during that time, while you were alive, you're able to do something super fulfilling before you go.
We live in Phoenix, Arizona, where you can go buy a threeplex, fourplex, up to about eight doors for under $1 million.
Yeah, easy. Here, yeah,
easy. Sure. And the crazy part about it is, in certain areas of the city, you can't even buy a single family home for that. Yeah. But you can go buy a income making. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. 8 doors. That's 8 doors. Up to 8 doors.
Yeah.
For sure. Under $1 million, but you can take out $1 million policy. I'm sorry, but if I'm dying of cancer, that is my guaranteed go-to.
100%. And now you're really setting your family up for wealth because, let's face it, the reason why a lot of people, and this is something I get all the time, the reason why people don't buy big policies more, it's not because they don't have the money. They spend the money. They know they have the money. But the thing that comes out of a lot of people's mouths is, I don't want to do that. My wife will kill me. She'll do that. She'll kill me just for that money.
Well, that's the whole point. Good. The more, if she kills you, the more money she gets. Shit, the more money the kids get because she going to jail.
Right, but that was perfect. That was perfect. That was good. I like that. That was good. But it's like, I don't want to do that because my wife's gonna take me out or whatever. But really, what that's telling me is that they're not. Number one, they don't even understand what that money would do. When we're thinking about like, okay, how are we setting this up? Okay, well, is your death benefit going to pay off your mortgage? How many years of your income? If you make $150,000, your family needs 3 to 5 years worth of that income to even figure out how to like mix things up, change it up, have some money to get through, like completely adjust their lifestyle, right?
So you have a question, Eric. Someone says, nursing home insurance helps pay assisted living costs?
You're talking about
assisted living is a little different though than nursing home.
Well, long-term care, yeah, assisted living much different than like nursing home. Not too many benefits are going to help with assisted living unless unless the person needs help with more than 2 acts of daily living. So eating, bathing, getting in and out of bed, share, taking medication, moving their bowels, things like that. So if they can't do those things and they need help with more than 2 of them, then sure, long-term care would help.
There's also laws in place. So
Yeah.
I don't think that a lot of people really understand that most assisted living places are usually government funded.
Mm-hmm.
And anything that's government funded, they're just not allowing those things to come into play, Marcy. Great question, though.
Yeah, really, really good question. But what I do have right now,
See, I don't
especially
know why I need to sell this shit because I know too much.
you do. I was gonna say
We
you
went
should
through this
definitely
last
come
time.
do this.
Yeah, but see, that goes back to that background shit.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to have that. I'm waiting on it. I'm waiting to get it removed. Well, I'm waiting for them to tell me you have been officially pardoned. Then my black ass is gonna be out here like this.
Hey!
I'm gonna have a party.
So there's two big things that I think we haven't talked about from insurance, because insurance is such a big landscape, right? Entrepreneurs, if you're listening, depending on your industry, but most entrepreneurs, I mean, you're running the business versus out in the field, things like that. We have a long-term disability product right now that's amazing. It takes you up to age 70. And it'll pay you up to $12,000 a month if you're disabled. And I'm seeing a lot of entrepreneurs right now in a position where they're like, what am I going to do? I have no disability.
That's your disability.
100%. The other one is if you're in business with a partner, take out a life insurance policy on your partner, right? And vice versa. Right?
When they say partner, that means that for a lot of you women that are always talking about, let's build together. That's husband and wife,
Yeah.
or same-sex partners. But marriage partners, not me and my brother went and started a business and now I'm taking a policy on his ass.
Well, you could do that too, actually.
His wife would be mad.
A key man policy for sure. You can actually do that. If you and your brother start a business, and let's say it's a trucking business and you're doing $2 million in revenue.
Yeah.
And one of you is in charge of logistics and one of you is in charge of whatever else, right? At the end of the day, you both have equal share in the business and you want to be able to protect that. So it's called a key man policy, typically going to be a term because you're not going to be in business longer than 30 years typically when you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And you can take out a policy on your business partner and vice versa. And if one of you were to pass away, they get paid out the benefit, and it allows you to stay functional in the business and hire someone of the same caliber to keep the business functional. That's a tax write-off completely. There's also ways that you can use life insurance, especially if you're an entrepreneur, to give yourself tax-free income. And that's the thing that I'm most passionate about when it comes to entrepreneurs, people building their own business right now. You've got to have your own tax-free supplemental income. Whether you have a pension from somewhere, none of that matters. Inflation's going up, economy, you're going to need more. The dollar, if you look at the dollar in comparison to many other economies right now, and you look at what the trend is, you'll understand what I'm saying. I encourage you to do your own research, but you're going to need more money in the future than you've ever needed in the past, ever. So why not have it from a tax-free place? Why not have it from a place that the government can't touch, can't change the laws on you and then say, oh, last year's 28%, this year's 36%, right? So that's something that's important because tax law has been in the U.S. since before the tax code.
Yeah, since 1897 to be exact. Taxes, they've been enforcing taxes with zero law. And the thing about it is, there's still, if you look at the 19th Amendment, there still is no tax law. As a matter of fact, the 19th Amendment actually says they can't charge us taxes. And we get taxed out the ass.
Because nobody wants to fight and rebel and all that. I mean, I get it, but it's getting kind of crazy. Because inflation is a tax that is imposed by the government, but not legislated on at all. And so that's why, you know, you have Jerome Powell in the Fed. He's like, oh, we're going up another 25 basis points. Well, 2 years ago, we were at 3%. Now we're at 7% in mortgages.
Highest it's ever. Oh my God.
Yeah, highest in recorded history. So, and with, you know, roars that we have. I mean, Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan Chase just was on MSNBC and said,
he just made an announcement yesterday.
Big, huge announcement. Said, hey, look, my biggest concern is the geopolitical wars in Ukraine right now. And so when we're in insurance, we're looking to protect your money and safely make it grow. We want to avoid taxes. We want to be able to give it to you tax-free. The only stipulation is you're healthy or somewhat healthy. You can't, unfortunately.
Don't come to us 6 weeks before you're supposed to die.
Yeah.
Trying to get a policy. It's not going to work that way.
Not going to happen.
Most places actually make you go get a physical. You have to go get a physical and have a clean bill of health in order to get into your policy.
Yeah. So go ahead. I was gonna say, yeah. So I actually got a very special designation with a AAA rated carrier, and there's only 2 in the country. I won't, because of my contract, I won't name the name, but if you look it up, there's only 2 AAA rated insurance carriers, and that designation took me like 90 days to get. And one of the things I learned about insurance in general, because it is the oldest insurance company in America, is if you're not using life insurance right now to build wealth and to protect your family, I'm highly concerned about what's going to be happening as far as taxation on 401ks and tax deferred accounts.
With the way the index is.
Right, exactly. Capital gains tax, all those things. Anything that's exposed to the market, I'm highly concerned about right now in the economy that we have. I mean, we have the Fed that just prints money, right?
And that's about to. So banks have already been given the go ahead to not hand out large lump sums of cash.
Yeah.
And at any point in time, they can deny you cash. Period. The reason for that is, which I put the post on my Facebook where I said our credit rating just dropped.
Yeah.
When our credit rating drops, that actually is one of the biggest proponents for inflation out the ass. Mm-hmm. The worst part about it is what our dollar is worth. You know, that bag that so many of you guys chase just got downgraded. Mm-hmm. So you went from Louis Vuitton at the moment, but it may be Coach.
I was gonna say Coach.
Right? But what would be worse is it might get downgraded all the way down to Michael Kors.
Oh no. If
it gets that low, we're in trouble. Not only that, Africa just joined Russia and China in they're calling the equality war. They want equal, as in, well,
sure.
Africa is the most resource-rich country.
Right.
The land of all lands. That's your diamonds. That's your gold.
That's everything.
That's, yes.
It's literally everything. I mean, I think it's like 90% of the world's metals, minerals, and like required material. like, come on, man! Like you piss off Africa. It's not.
So when Africa says, "Hey, we're willing to join," and we're saying it publicly, we're joining Russia and China to have an equal say and an equal power in this game of money.
Yeah.
Now it's bad.
Yeah.
Now it's bad.
Yeah, it isn't the best. But, you know, that's why I say, you know, no matter what happens, if your money is protected in some sort of life insurance vehicle, an annuity is a life insurance vehicle, you know, or an insurance vehicle, I should say, but it is a life insurance vehicle because there's a death benefit. Protect your money. Be smart. Like I said, become your own banker. Nelson Nash, one of the best books that you can read, listen to. And there's a reason why even if you were to go to a financial firm, one of the first questions they're going to ask you is, what type of life insurance do you have? It's one of the first questions they'll ask you. And if you don't have any, they'll probably refer you to someone, depending on the amount of wealth that you have and how much money you make. They'll probably refer you to someone that will sell you a life insurance policy that'll be designed more for growth and a conservative growth, as opposed to, what they would do with the stock market. But any of my wealthy clients, I just sat down with one of a good friend of mine, actually. She makes, $300K a year, easy, not even without blink of an eye. And she went to a wealth firm, and one of the first things they said is, well, where's your life insurance cash value? And she was like, what? I don't have kids. They were like, so?
Kids don't mean anything.
Kids don't mean anything. Why aren't you using this? Why aren't you using it for why the rich people created it?
It's the biggest component of collateral.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I wanna buy this $80 million apartment complex I know it's gonna bring in $500,000-$600,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
You only have this much for your down payment. Like, do you own a home? No. Do you own vehicles? Kinda. What's your credit's not quite where it needs to be,
right?
But I've got this insurance policy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Now they're interested
all of a sudden.
And this is the biggest thing with banks. For people that pay for insurance policies, that shows that you are responsible.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is you're paying for something that you don't need to have. You made that choice, which means that you are fiscally and economically aware.
100%.
So they know that their money is safe with you because they're insuring your ass in the first place. They're already insured.
Yeah. And it's funny because banks are owned by insurance companies. So, it's like, well...
Who is the FDIC?
Right. It's funny how a lot of that stuff, it's when we say it, it sounds like common sense. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But like people don't, kind of put the two and two together. But a lot of individuals also don't know that you can set up your life insurance so that you stop paying in a short amount of time. So all the money you put into it grows forever and you no longer have payments. And so one of those things is it's called like a reduced paid up whole life. You pay into it for 10 years or you set it for 20 years and then it's done. There's no more insurance paid into it. You don't have to pay anything, but the money will grow tax-free forever and your death benefit will grow in kind. So now you have that asset that grows and you don't even have to touch it anymore. If you're young enough and you do this, or you do this for your kids, you've just set them up for the wealth train, right? But yeah, I could go blue in the face talking about this stuff. What else you got for me, Bailey?
If they're interested in doing what you do, again, let them know where they can find you at.
Oh man, I am Eric J Official, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Eric J Robinson on Facebook, and or you just send me a text message 626-703-9734. Okay, 626-703-9734.
And let them know that you are referred by Mr. Bailey, so he can give you that 10% contract.
It's actually gonna be like 100% contract, but you know what I mean. No big deal. Just to touch on that though, we are one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid commission in the insurance industry. So we set people up really well, and not to mention if you're in California, it's just plug and play. I could put you to work 5 days a week.
So here's a question.
Yeah.
So just not too long ago, we had this pandemic that hit the world.
Yeah, changed everything.
Did that affect your line of work?
Yeah, I actually did. It went up a lot.
So you mean to tell me that you made more money than so you were very much needed, right?
Yeah, insurance never goes anywhere. When times get worse, people buy more. Not to say to capitalize on that, but yeah, I mean, if you're in the industry, that's what we do. That's our career. When things get bad, people get scared. They buy insurance.
And can we make this very clear that insurance is not a scam?
Oh no, not at all.
If it is a scam, it's a scam on the government. It's not a scam on people.
No, I have a carrier. The carrier actually I just mentioned. I go on my portal every day and it shows me how much money they've paid out to policyholders in the last 24 hours. And this particular carrier pays $22 million a day in death benefit.
Can they link themselves to my bank account? Just link me to your bank account. I'm cool with just fractions of pennies on every dollar.
Right? That's how I feel.
And I'm just gonna use it for these other property investments. We're gonna be partners.
Yeah, right. If you can get a list of all the beneficiaries, oh man, like they're best friends, right?
So, I don't know. Let's go ahead. Let the people know where they can find you, how they can find you, and yeah, we'll end it there.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, texting me is the best thing. 626-703-9734, or hit me up on social. I am Eric J Official or Eric J Robinson on Facebook. Any way of those, you reach out. I'll definitely be able to either answer questions for you or point you in the right direction.
And with that being said, definitely want to say thank you for tuning in to another episode of Therapy Session. So again, we will continue to highlight business owners of all walks of life, entertainers of all walks of life. The whole point of this channel is to help build you and mold you into better people in love, in life, relationships, family, and financials. Make sure you tune in Monday through Thursday for Therapy Session. Fridays is the new Friday Night Live. 9 p.m. only live call-in show, and then you can check us out every Sunday night. Same as Friday, Sunday Night Live. Call-in show starts at 8 p.m. and then go ahead and get the merch. Hustlefit.com. It is hustlefit.com. The Captain Crunch shirt is the best seller. Amen.
Yeah, I like that one. You might have to give me that one. That was cool.
I had to do it. I make all this shit in-house.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I started I've always had the clothing line for like 6-7 years.
Yeah.
But I actually just took and created to where I create all the everything.
I'm gonna have to count one. I'm gonna get a couple of them shirts, bro. The Captain Crunch got me, man. I ain't gonna lie.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, y'all will see me tomorrow night. We will have the lovely Alicia back in the building. She got some gems the last time she was on the show. And, well, she wants to let you guys know what changed and how it changed and more. We're going to have a great conversation. With that, I definitely want to say thanks for tuning in to another episode. I'm your man, Bailey, a.k.a.